I'm Matthew. I'm walking the spine of Albion, stirring cultural renaissance and calling forward the emerging leaders of this age.
The tables have started to turn. Started by revolution. Oh, no.
I just had a thought. How the hell have I managed to do this whole thing? Like, not just getting to the end of, like, to Scotland, but, you know, just getting here to the start.
Just like that, I've made it to Farringdon Hill. This place has a really special energy about it. I'm going to spend the afternoon here and then turn north for the next leg of the journey.
It's better than rain. Much better than rain. That's where I'm headed. Somewhere in the murky distance.
I think they're red kites. They've been with me for hours, just following me whichever way I turn. They fly away. Sometimes miles away. I can see them way in the distance. Then they come back, perch in a tree close by, or they spiral overhead, sometimes just a few meters. Yeah, this guy's doing it again, going away and then coming back. The red kites have definitely made themselves known on this trip, a totem of this walk.
I'm not really sure where it came from, but I find myself out walking at night. There's less cars on the road. There's kind of a tranquility of sorts. It's not perfect, it's not entirely safe, but it's different. And it's actually, in a sense, it's really nice. You won't be able to see very much, and that's because I'm coming over the Cotswolds in the middle of the night. It's a very mystical experience. I don't think too many people would have done it this way for a long time. That was big. Just walked pretty much through the Cotswolds overnight. And I'm getting into whatever this town is. It starts with C. It's not too far from the Roll Right Stones, which is my next stop. But I'm going to find a pub, get a cup of tea and dry off first, I think. I am absolutely wrecked. And I still have to do a couple of miles to try and find somewhere to bunker down tonight. So yeah, good adventure though. Proper living. My right knee has been giving me some grief, and yeah, my limp, I've been limping for about 150 miles, very subtly, but it's just gotten worse over the last day or so because of that bucket tear in my meniscus.
I'm going to have to do something about it. My left hip is starting to compensate. So I've got a sore left hip as well. So I'm just going to take a couple of days from tomorrow afternoon, whenever I finish tomorrow afternoon, wherever I am, which I think will be around the Rollright Stones, I'll stop, take a couple of days, rest the legs. It'll also give me a chance for my one little side quest in this whole pilgrimage, which is I have to duck off and go see the dentist. There's NHS in the UK for you. To duck off for a day, come back to get a crown put in. There was just no other way around it. So yeah, little medical moments, rest moments, recovery moments coming my way at the moment, even though I want to kind of press on. Feels like it's part of the wisdom to take it a little slower. I'm going to reduce my miles to probably, around 15 miles rather than the 22s that have been my general average so far, except on rest days when I've done like 9 miles or so. Before I get to those rest days, I wanted to drop in and share a couple of things. There's a few things I want to speak into. The first is how a culturally led society is where we're headed and why it's really important. The second is the men and how touched I am by how the men have shown up for me and with me in this dreaming. It's been really powerful and important, actually. And the third is the role that Renaissance plays in jumpstarting culture, which is why I'm calling for it as I make my way up the spine. We live in an industry-led society, and society, when it's really healthy, when it's functioning well, when it is living up to its potential, is actually culturally led. So we're on a path at the moment, a long path, a generational path, back to being a culturally led society. One of the problems with being industry led is that industry is based around people's wants, not necessarily their needs a lot of the time. And industry is beautiful. Industry is important. Industry is a key part of society. But when a society begins to grow off people's wants, and the people who are wanting things aren't initiated through the rites of passages, through the journeys of becoming fully grown adults and then elders, what happens is we get people wanting things that don't sustain, wanting things from like a toddler ground or a teenager ground that is actually in the long term, it's destructive, it's not sustainable. So this is a slow and long journey that we're on back to being a culturally led society with industry as a rich and integrated part within it, but not the leading force. I can't even begin to capture really how blown away I am by how my brothers and my uncles have come forward and stood for me and with me in this whole dreaming, in this kind of audacious idea that I've just dived into and given myself to. And just like when I was thinking about it the other day, I was like, Darren gave me all his gear, not all of it, but like so much gear, and he just like gave it to me, like there was no ask. It was just, here you go, brother. And yeah, I feel really touched, actually. I just want to be real about how it's kind of hard to capture how much it means to me and how beautiful it is. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. And Uncle Benjamin has been just a force. Like, I guess things that he's done and is doing that I'm not even going to speak here, but just the extent to which he's willing to stand with me and for me is so... that man is a beautiful, beautiful, powerful man who is standing with me and all the love that he is. He's really standing with me. And Dan driving me down, and putting hours, days of his life on hold to come and get me to the start and shepherd me through those first couple of days. And Andy and
out there at Thurlow and like who else? Dever Dave. Like the men are really showing up. The women are as well. But right now I just want to speak about the men because God, it means so much. And yeah, just thank you, brothers. Thank you, uncles. Yeah, I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you. I love you. Throughout history, peoples haven't traditionally known that they're in a renaissance when they're in a renaissance. But right now we have this extraordinary opportunity to know that we're in renaissance, and it's been inspired by the rippling of the medicines across the world. It's been inspired by these kind of collective initiations, COVID and some of the really hard times of the last 20 years. There's been a building tension point that is the initiation, that is the birthing of worlds and the birthing of beings. And within this time of dark and challenge and initiation and kind of collective rite of passage that we haven't asked for, but is just part of the spiraling journey of life on earth, within that there is this glimmer, this flicker, this ember that is consciousness, and consciousness is culture, and culture is consciousness. And so as this flicker, this ember of culture begins to stir and burn and turn into a fire, it ignites consciousness around the world. And we are in a moment of consciousness igniting, and we're in a moment of culture igniting and clarifying, and there is a great maturing that is coming. It's being asked of us. It's already here in some ways, but we're being asked to meet it. And so Renaissance is the experience of culture maturing, this explosion and flourishing of life that is consciousness being experienced as culture. And it's a good thing. And whether I did this walk or I didn't do this walk, there is a renaissance happening on earth right now. But I am doing this walk and calling you to turn towards it and to celebrate it and to be a part of it, because it's quite a magical and radical thing that will be in the history books. And our great grandchildren, those generations, will look back on this moment with awe, and we get to be a part of it. And I think that's really cool.
Not much further now until I can get somewhere I can bunker down for a few days and rest these knees, rest these hips, and recover after almost 150 miles. Keep an eye out for Chapter 4, which will land not too far away, and remember to like and subscribe whenever you watch one of these videos. It really helps get the word out. Thanks for being here. Thanks for supporting this channel and supporting these videos. It really means a lot to me. I'll see you next, a little further along the path.